Piercing and body mods are not unprofessional. Judging someone for having them is unprofessional. There is nothing wrong with someone having piercings, or not having piercings, having tattoos, or not having tattoos. There is no reason why you should judge someone for having them or not having them, regardless of your profession. If you decide not to hire someone based on them having or not having them, you're a dick and should be fired because you're an unprofessional ass, and I hope somebody eventually charges you with something. So, you shouldn't have your job and you shouldn't be hiring people. And if you were, say, going into a supermarket or going to a doctor's office or something, and you notice that they have tattoos, or you notice that they have gauged out earrings or crazy colored contacts in, or lip piercings, eyebrow piercings, their entire head shaved and covered in tattoos, whatever. If you see that and you go, they should be working here, that's unprofessional, they should be forced to cover that up or have it removed. Why'd they even get that? They're stupid. Me. 1, you're an asshole. 2, keep your mouth shut. No one cares. Because it's not unprofessional. There's nothing wrong with it. And unless it's brand fucking new and, like, fresh in its wrapping, it's not a sanitary problem. So, the only reason to have an issue with a tattoo is if it's, like, brand new and fresh and they're a doctor. So, you know, bit of a sanitation issue there. But if it's a healed, fine tattoo that's, like, 3 years old, then there is no issue there. You should not have to cover up tattoos or piercings either, and you should not have to have them removed. There is no reason for that. It is stupid. And if it pisses your customers off, your customers are idiots. And if it pisses you off, then you're an idiot. Now, I would understand being offended by an actually offensive tattoo. Like if someone's walking around with a tattoo that's like, fuck all black people, or fuck all gay relationships, or the actual Nazi symbol, like the actual Nazi symbol, not the other one, the actual Nazi symbol, then fine. You have a right to be pissed off and tell them, hey, you gotta cover that one up, because that one is actually offensive. But that goes the same for someone who wears a shirt that says, fuck black people, or giant Nazi flag on their chest. Yeah, you have to ask them, hey, you can't wear that here, because 1, they shouldn't be wearing it in the first damn place, 2, it's actually offensive. But a plain old dragon tattoo with, like, a couple skulls and the Chinese symbol for happiness, that is not offensive in any way. And neither is, like, a plain blue gauge, or a plain blue plug, or a little black spike piercing, a little Medusa, cheek piercings, what have you. That's not actually offensive. Now, if they have, like, plugs that are, like, racist symbols or something, then yeah, you can ask them to not wear those plugs. But they can wear any other plugs, as long as it's not something else that's horribly racist or what have you. So there is nothing unprofessional about that. Yeah. And also, if you work as a tattoo artist, you should not be required to have tattoos. This is something I saw on Ink Master. They basically gave one of the guys shit for not having any tattoos of his own, even though he said that he was planning on getting one. That's not okay. Yes, I understand that as a tattoo artist, one of the ways that you learn is by getting tattooed. Yeah. But that doesn't mean you have to have a tattoo or learn that way. You might not learn that way at all. You might learn by a totally different method, and that might not be any good for you. Or you just might not have had any good tattoo artists anywhere near you. Or you might not have a lot of money. There's nothing wrong with not having a tattoo and being a tattoo artist. And with the Ink Master episode, after they made that comment, he went on with a bunch of, like, tattoos drawn on him with Sharpie that the other contestants drew on him as kind of a joke. Like, he did, like, full sleeves of this stuff, and it was obviously meant to be a joke. To me, making fun of their dislike of him not having tattoos. Of course, they got pissed off at it because they're pissy, and I don't really like the judges all that much. Dave DeVero's okay, but the rest are just pissy twits, and I don't like them. And I thought it was absolutely hilarious, and I would have done the exact same thing as that guy did. But of course they got pissed off at it. But unlike him, I would not have apologized for it. I wouldn't have said, oh, it wasn't meant to be offensive. I probably would have said, well, you offended me first, or something along those lines. So yeah. As a tattoo artist, yes, it is better for you to have tattoos, or a piercing, or some kind of mod. Yes, it's better. but you shouldn't have to have it, and you shouldn't be shit on for not having it under any circumstance. No. And you also shouldn't get a tattoo or a piercing just because you're a tattoo artist, or just because you're an alt person and want to be a little bit more alternative, or just because some person walked up to you, you would look good with this piercing. If you don't want the piercing, don't get that piercing. If you don't want tattoos, don't get that tattoo. And whether or not you hire someone should have nothing to do with whether or not they have piercings and tattoos, under any circumstances. Otherwise, you're an unprofessional twat.